It'll take a minute. Good afternoon. Welcome to Trauma Tuesday. It's something that we've been doing here lately. We're trying to think of like different topics. That we can maybe talk about. But I have a special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Desiree. I'm here with Barry for Trauma Tuesday.
Trauma. Well, Desiree is our new one of our, she's part of the tour team, part of the Prevengers. So, we're real happy to have her on. I know I've known, Des and her family, for a very long time. So, it feels cool, to have somebody on the couch that, I've known for a while. And so how does it feel? Like, did you plan on being able to do any of this when you got hired on?
No, I did not plan any of this.
So we're kind of random with it, right?
Yeah, I was plotting on coming to tour though. So
Yeah.
I always like tried to volunteer for y'all's little events, and I was like, maybe Darian will notice me.
Yeah. Maybe they'll see all the extra effort.
I know. Now I don't even.
Yeah, he didn't notice. I mean, because
He didn't notice.
it's goofy as hell. When we having hot dogs, that's dairy. But we're trying to think of these different topics of like is I don't know how it became Trauma Tuesday, but it became like a focal point as to we got Mental Health Monday, Trauma Tuesday, Women's Wednesday. I was thinking Thirsty Thursdays, as like a codependence topic, which we all know in Indian country is huge. You know what codependency is?
Yeah.
Okay. So and then something for Friday, but we only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday covered so far. So but today, it's about trauma, and I hate just focusing on because everybody has their own trauma, right?
Mhm.
I hate just like it's so bad, and I want I feel like I'm on the other side of my trauma, right? Like I've acknowledged it. I've dealt with it. I felt like in a healthy way, finally, because it's childhood trauma, a lot of it's childhood. And just being able to just maybe pick somebody else's brain about, not about like your business. I don't want to know your business, but maybe about, like how did you deal with things? Do you feel like you've had a lot of traumatic things?
Mm, I want to say like this past year I was dealing with grief with my uncle Keith,
Oh yeah.
but I've learned to work through that. Like, like what? How would he feel if he seen me right now? And I'd be like, he'd want me to be happy.
Yeah.
He'd want me to like move on and not dwell. And I know he'd be happy for me going to school, and I know he'd be happy that I talk to his kids as much as I can, or
Oh yeah.
whenever. Just try to make him proud and like
For sure.
positive, positive alternatives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great way to put it. Because a lot of people that are that are in their addiction, right? It's like this distress, the like this stressful thing came over, over our lives, and it's like we had this mental health crisis, and we did not know how to work through those things. That's why that's where the substances come in. And you're finding an external answer to an internal problem. Like that's, I mean, you know, I you know, I didn't know how to deal with a lot of things. So, as a man, it's like you just think you got to take it on the chin and you got to keep going, right? And nobody hurt more than me through all them situations. So, just being able to have that clarity today, and maybe just touch on, some of the things that maybe helped you, and I'll talk about some of the things that maybe helped me. Um, so do you how did you recognize that maybe a traumatic event happened? Was it something drastic, or was do you feel like it had to happen, and then like as time went on, like you realized like maybe you didn't deal with it in a healthy way, or maybe you did, like how did that process go when and like I don't know, it's hard because I always think of it as something always from the cause of somebody else, right?
Mhm. Well, I feel like once I went through that trauma of like losing Keith, like I was just like worried about, well, what can I do to help my family? Like what should I cook or whatever. But dang, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Like like when you lost your uncle, like how was you able to process
Okay.
like a solution, like
Yeah, okay, so during the whole time, I was just, like, keeping myself busy until after. I was like, "Oh, dang, I just, like, buried my uncle." And then I was like, "Well, what can I do to, like, keep his memory alive?"
yeah, to honor
And
him?
so that's just, like, reaching out to his cousins, my cousins, his kids, and I don't know, I just feel like that's the best way to
I
do
mean,
it.
yeah, I mean that
'Cause
does a lot.
yeah, I know I'm missing him, but I know they're missing their dad.
Yeah, for sure. And I knew Keith.
Mhm.
He was one of my friends. So yeah, it just it seems like grief isn't talked about enough. Like we're such a tight knit community where everybody knows everybody. Like you never really like I understand like through dealing with grief myself. It was like you keep yourself so busy with the process of making sure that everything's just right for the funeral, and everything's just right for like that whole process, right?
Mhm.
And then when it's all over with, then that's like you don't have nothing else to do. All you can do is kind of sit there in your thoughts, sit there like in your, and what brought on a lot of my is it turned into depression. So it was kind of like if there was a drug out there, because I was already an addict, right? So it was like I had to go see if there was a stronger drug. I had to go see if there was a stronger drink. And I'm telling you, there isn't. There isn't anything out there that will help. If anything, it makes that process worse. So I always like hearing like how a person that didn't have my problem, you know what I mean? Like how they, was there like just things that you did that kind of eased your mind, I guess.
Yeah. So like, when you lose someone, everyone's all like, "Oh, I can't believe they're gone. We're never going to see them again." Well, that's what I kept hearing. So I would like flip the script and be like, "Man, I remember the last time I seen Keith, he had a crook in his neck when we were driving down the highway and he tried to turn around to get onto the kids and he was like, "Oh, man, cuz he had a crook in his neck."
Yeah.
And um they'll be like, you look just like your mama, girl. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. I finally had to ask Keith one time, like, why do you call my mom spark plug? And he was like, oh, baby, that's because she's missing a spark plug. So, like, when people come up to me and, like, I know they're missing Keith too, but
Yeah.
I just always try to turn it around, like, well, remember how goofy he used to act and just bring up a good memory.
Yeah, that's good. After losing my son, it was like people would come up, and as soon as I would see him, it didn't matter where we were at, Walmart, like a public place, like they would come up, like as soon as they seen me, they would just start crying.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it was like, man, I'm trying to I do that enough by myself. When I'm around everybody, like I'm trying to, just engage in just a normal conversation.
Mhm.
That's what I missed, was like the normalcy of somebody just treat me, like they wouldn't usually treat me. Like I miss that,
Mhm.
because, like I was saying, the pain comes, all the crying, like it happens. Like, so, it was, what stuck out to me was when I would see somebody and they would come up and shake my hand and say, you know what, I'm real glad to see you. Like I was real proud of, like, my friends and family. Like they were ready to pick me up and help me carry what I was feeling. And that's what I love about our native community, is that you see that all the time. Like, like when a person's trying to get sober, before, it was like, like people are actually respecting their, what they want, like they're not trying to knock that person down by getting them high or drunk. They understand that they're going through something, a good thing, and they may not understand or know what it is, but I mean, they try to, one of my buddies, he wanted me to drive him home from the bar. So I go to the bar with him, and I walk in and everyone's like, nah, man, like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? I didn't tell him, like, oh, I'm about to drive him home. I'm just like, oh, man, I just come and check it out, shoot a game of pool. Yeah, act like I'm there to hang out. Because I want to be like, oh, I'm just his DD. But I mean, it made me feel good that people understood who I used to be, and, that they can appreciate who I am today. So I mean, what do you feel like? How do you feel like how long did it take you to realize, like, that he was a good thing in your life, and you want to hold on to that? Like, did that immediately come up, or did you have to go through a few different situations to understand that?
Oh no, I immediately knew because
Yeah.
like that's my mom's brother,
Uh huh.
and I just immediately knew. I was like, God dang, I told you. Yeah, I told you. Listen, but
Yeah.
but it don't work out that way. And then like after I realized, after the services and stuff, I'm like, despite how it happened, I know he's in a good place.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
for
in
sure.
my heart, like he's happy, and despite how it happened, I know he's okay.
Yeah, for sure. It's, you know I always just think about, because I'm like a karma guy. I don't wish no bad on anybody, but, like sometimes my mind goes to, like, well, I don't have. I'm always the type that's like, I don't have to go get even. If they did wrong, then the creator sees that. You know, so, I'm glad I'm not in that part of my life anymore, where I was judge and jury. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like I always thought that I had to go react to a lot of things. So, I'm glad to hear that, you know, uh despite how that happened, because it's a sad deal, that, you're still finding the positive,
Mhm.
I mean, and that's a big step, because a lot of our native community isn't like that. Like I don't know, like it's crazy, especially around here.
Mhm.
Like how we can get, you know, but I know, like, this grief thing, man. I just heard something earlier, from my daughter about a father going through grief, and man, it's just like I wish I could sit down with them, and just and one of the things that helped me, and it really, really, man, it really, 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 really helped me. And he said it to me like as if I was a Christian. Because I'm not saying anything bad about Christianity at all. Like I would never, I got a lot of friends that got sober through faith, but or through religion, through Christianity. And I'm not knocking it. I would never knock it at all. If that's what got them sober, and God and Jesus makes them a better man or woman, then I fully support it. Same way with my brothers that are Muslims. Well, his name was Johnny Peoples. From he works with a lot of kids that are going to D1 college out there in Santa Ana. He deals with a lot of kids that go to Modern Day, or a lot of California recruits. They go through him if they're gonna be in the secondary. So he's pretty well known. And he one day he asked me to write down what keeps me, what why do I keep giving in to this addiction. What keeps taking me out. And I told him that I wrote down on this piece of paper the death of my son. Like every time I try to process it, I just end up getting high or drunk. And you know, uh, when the next time I seen him, he said he has a sobriety group, and they're all pastors that are in recovery. They have like their own AA meeting or whatever. Their own group, and they're all pastors. And so he said he read that to the group, and they wanted him to bring back the message to me that that God lost his son too. And if anybody knows how I feel, if anybody knows how to guide me, it would be God. And I never ever, thought about it like that. I never ever you know, like, like it opened up my mind even more, about this whole God thing. Because at one time, I can't say that I was a believer, with the way my life was going, with me, going off of self will. So there, it gave me a way to think of things in a healthy way. Because like my sponsor always says, if this God thing isn't real, then I'm a dead man. And that's how I felt. Like I truly felt like that was God working through Johnny Peoples to come and tell me that. So I mean, there's different ways, I guess, those that's just something that helped me. And I think about it all the time, and did I even though, I believe in our traditional ways, and I believe in sweet medicine, and you know what I mean? Like that's the way that I believe, but for some reason I felt that connection, with the higher power, and it really, really, really helped me, at that time, and I still think about it. I still think about it this day, that I feel very fortunate that he shared that with me. So I mean, grief, man, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. Have like I see it all the time. Somebody loses somebody, then you'll see them at the bar.
Mhm.
Like you see that all the time. And I understand that. I completely understand that process. And one thing I've learned is that it's usually not a good ending. And I understand. It helps for the moment, but I also understand like I use substances to kill how I was feeling, to make these feelings go away, right? But what I was doing was I was shorting myself on the memories that I had of my son. Like I forgot a lot of things. And that wasn't fair to him. Like that. Like I shorted myself on that. And I always think about like on that movie Wind River. Where he goes back to see and the dad has his face painted, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna make war, and uh well, I think it's even before that when he goes back and he tells him like you need to feel all of that pain. Because I understood that because the way my life was going at the time is like I was running from that. I was running from all of that. And I didn't, you know, and it felt like a never ending process.
Yeah.
Like it's never ending. Like I remember after losing my son, one of my bros, my brother Will, he messaged me and was like I feel for you, bro. Like I can't imagine what it's like to lose one of my sons. And all I could say was, it never gets any better. And it was like at the time, it was like a never ending thing, like that I didn't know how to process. I didn't know how to cope with it. None of these things were in place. So I felt today, it's like, I've done all kinds of therapy sessions. The I can't remember what it's called, EMDR, like I don't know, like it's all these different kinds of therapy that I tried and they helped. But in the end, I feel like it was my belief system, that actually helped me get a grasp on my truth. Because it seemed like I was willing to live the lie, but I was avoiding the truth. And today, I like to talk about healing. Just the way generational trauma is passed down. I feel like there's generational healing. So,
For sure.
uh, now you go on a rant for 30 minutes.
Do you want me to read the
Yeah,
comments?
read the comments.
Okay. Can you scroll up just a little bit?
No, I want you to rant.
No. Okay, Francis K. Lone Bear said, "You can wear your trauma like a badge or like a nose. Oh, a noose. You have that choice." Don't look at me like that. I thought it was a typo.
No, that's your uncle. Brand's your uncle.
I know.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You told me that.
Got that dementia. You told me
I
like four
know, right?
times.
Well, we have the same people. Yeah, that's my
We're
brother.
mutuals.
We're mutuals. That's my brother.
And
Thank you for commenting, brother.
David Deere said, "Good afternoon."
Stongo, David.
Charlene McAdee said, "Good afternoon, Prevenger team."
Yeah, Prevengers. Prevengers.
Jen Miller, "Good afternoon, y'all," from Billings, Montana.
Tuning in, Jen.
Drew
Appreciate
Wilson, "Good afternoon."
you. Wapinaku.
Laura Candy says hello.
Hello, Laura. Glad you could tune in.
And Charlene McAdee says, "There is a negative stigma attached to a person's end of time on earth. I don't think it has to be labeled a trauma. It's truly the opposite of that." Then
Yeah.
she says, "I feel that with my mom, grief is the gift of having been a part of her time here." That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
that was nice. I like the way you put that. That's a great way to think about it.
Right.
We do a Mending Broken Hearts talking circle here on Monday nights at 1950. We call it Mending Mondays. That's why we started the Mental Health Monday. All the whole bit. But it's a powerful, powerful circle. I get the most out of that meeting. Because I had so much trouble with grief. I get a lot. I understand like that's where my substance abuse, like it really picked up whenever I didn't know how to deal with grief. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that even if you're just curious or you just want to come sit in, you ain't gotta get all in it like we all. I'm gung ho when it comes to my meetings. So if you just want to come and just sit and just, I mean, more than anything, it's like you find your community. Like more than anything, you find the support of other individuals. Because that was the thing about it is I thought I was going through this by myself. But my son had sisters. He had a mom, he had grandparents. A little brother, little sister. And I acted like it was just me going through that. That's how selfish I was. That's how self-centered my addiction had me. So I mean, I feel like if one person starts to heal, like it helps the next person try to heal. And it just keeps going and going. Like I can definitely see the positive effects that this thing has had on my life. So I love the fact that we're all able to recognize like when somebody's getting off track. Or I like talking about solutions. And we were just gonna kind of talk about trauma, not really grief, but I mean, like I think that's the common thing, between people. Like that's something everybody can revert back to is when they lost a loved one, and how it affected them. And I like how she put it, I'm glad I had my son for 14 years. I was very proud, you know, and then again, it also, it makes me think about my substance use at the time, and I can show myself some grace because that wasn't me. That was, it was my addiction that took over my life. And I can beat myself up all day, about what happened, about the whole situation. But I mean, just like I thought it was me going through it, if I start doing that, then I can see myself slipping back to my old ways. So I don't know if I'm making any sense now, but I'm just rambling.
Laura Candy shared some of her solutions. She says, I have my peyote meeting and sweats. The creator brought me this far. Or
Definitely,
brought me this far, yeah.
definitely.
And then Jake Chappelle Chapel said, I
Yeah.
need therapy because of Barry. Me too. He stresses me out.
Y'all can't believe Jake. Jake be lying. Yeah, nah, that's the bro. That's my bro for real. But well, I mean, I didn't want to get on. I just wanted to get this thing done.
Hmm.
Pour my heart out, then reel it back in, and time to clock out, and go home. But thank you again for deciding. Like we just barely talked her into it,
Yeah.
but she's a good sport, man. She really is. And I know this ain't gonna be the last time that we see you. So,
We'll see y'all next time. We did our 30 minutes.
well, thank you for getting on. Darian, we got it done. Hope you and Domingo
Had a lovely
had
day
a
off.
lovely day together. Hopefully, your little, what are they? What are baby chickens called? Chicks. So Hopefully, we see them around the office soon. But yeah, we will. Well, I think we're gonna let. Usually, Tatum comes in on Wednesdays and does the Women's Wednesday and the morning meditation. She kills two birds with one stone. So
Heck yeah.
hopefully, she'll be here tomorrow. Darian, Domingo. Hopefully, we'll all be here. Well, no, I think Domingo has yoga.
No, that's Thursday.
Oh yeah. That's right. All right, that's right. Okay.
So Domingo will be here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Tatum should be on in the morning. But like, share, follow. Thanks for tuning in with us. Sorry we didn't get to all your comments if if you posted something, but we have a good producer today, so we don't need Darian, we don't need Domingo, we don't need Carmelo.
Shout out to Theta.
Yeah, shout out to Theta. So I feel like this was a success. So, we will see you tomorrow. Go ahead and click
End
in live,
stream.
but then you got to go back down to click it, then another, then go down and click that.